Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Hey. Whoop, whoop.
Go and clap.
With some special guests this evening, with the three of us as always. Unfortunately, Mazima Bob is not well this evening, but we do have Dan Mackey. Good evening, Dan.
Hey. Dan the man.
Unfortunately, Dan, we can't get his green screen working this evening, so but he's got a very lovely couch behind him, so he still looks radiant anyway. And I do believe Ruth in chat wants to come on as well. So I've gone to just copy and paste that into chat for you, Ruth. And you can use that link to come join us in the studio. And I will add you when you're ready.
Customary greeting. Panko!
Panko! All hail Panko. The Supreme.
We're not worthy.
The Supreme Panko. Good evening. Yes, it's us. It's the TNG review show. We're back on another Wednesday evening to talk about Star Trek The Next Generation with me, Monteban, my Chief Sean. How you doing, Chief Sean?
I'm doing all right. Just back from Dublin. So if I start dripping down about halfway through, you'll know why I'm up since about 5:30. But sure, look. If you had a Red Bull, we'll keep going.
Keep plugging the Red Bull. Dan, how you going, Dan?
All right, a bit hungry, but apart from that, fine.
Everybody's hungry and super tired today. Because moving on to Tavi, she's got supplies. Maltesers.
Thanks for bringing it for the group.
Share them. Share them around. Pass them around. Yeah.
It would be awesome if you all had a bucket and we just like did it from scene to scene and the next person would pull it in.
Yeah.
You'd love it in Scotland, Tavi. They have deep fried pizza.
Right, bringing on Ensign Bryce. There she is.
Right.
Hello. I'm here.
Wow, we've got. I see this. The start.
I'm getting a lot of repetition though. I can hear everybody speak twice.
You'll have to mute
gotta
your
mute
television.
I'm getting a lot of repetition though. I can hear everybody.
Yeah.
Mute on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, we've got YouTube on as well, because, yeah, you'll need to mute that.
Is Panko coming on?
Hopefully. Yeah, have you got that? You there? You got it, Ruth? Can you hear us, Ruth?
Yeah, just a moment. Okay. There, I've closed the other window.
Ah, that's better. That's much better.
I think we're good.
Fantastic. There we go.
You can hear me then, can you?
Yes, we can. Yes. I'm liking the TARDIS and the Star Trek paraphernalia in the background there.
Did somebody say TARDIS?
Oh yeah. That's a completely different show, Sean. And
You're on the wrong ship.
yeah, you're on the wrong ship. Good evening to everybody else in chat. Good evening, Stu Plum. Andrew, good evening, sir. Good evening, Ruth. And Supreme Panko, we said hello to you. So, yes, good evening, everyone. We are here this evening to talk about TNG Season 4, Episode 19, The Nth Degree. So I hope all you guys have seen it recently or are done your studying, so you're ready for the questions. Because I do have questions for you this evening. And we have plenty of points to give away. And
going easy on us.
Well, I'm hopefully doing a mixture. I'm trying to please everyone. Dan. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how we go. Hopefully nothing too contentious. Sean will be our scorekeeper this evening because we don't have Mazim Bob. And I see Mazim Bob's in chat. Hiya, Maz. How you doing? I hope your voice and I hope your code is clearing up. You guys won't be able to hear it because you're not on the YouTube side, but I do have some sound effects now. So everybody cheer for the panel. There you go.
We can hear it vaguely. Ever so slightly.
Okay. Yeah. I've got for when you tell a good joke as well.
Hear it in the vague distance.
Yeah, I think it's being picked up from my headphones. But
when I tell a good joke, did I ever tell you about the time I tried to turn water into steam? Mist.
Oh. I don't think that quite.
No, that
doesn't work. Anyway, right. So, carrying on then. So yes, episode 19 is production number 40274-193. It first aired on April the 1st, 91. So maybe this episode was just an April Fool joke. It was the 92nd to be produced and released for TNG. It was written by Joe Minosky, who we've talked about before. This was his 4th of 16 writing credits. And though he was actually the executive story editor on all 26 episodes of season 4. And it was directed by Rob Legato. This was his second of 2. The first one being Menage a Trois. But he's also a visual effects supervisor. So we've talked about them.
I think I had one of those legatos on holiday once. No, I'm not catching heavy at all. Okay, move on.
It's not working. It's not working. Okay.
I laugh though. I never laugh at your jokes.
I'm too tired, Shauna. You got to make them real easy for me.
Okay.
Who wants to see the trailer again?
A bizarre accident.
Right. Let me just sort that out.
One vote for trailer.
Yeah.
Well, for those that didn't see it last week, here it is.
A bizarre accident turns man into machine.
Lieutenant, you are probably the most advanced human being who ever lived.
A new power takes command of the Enterprise.
How do we get him out of there?
We don't. Not without killing him.
And he's sending the crew on a death mission.
We are in danger.
Remove yourself from the computer system. And we have lost computer control.
12 seconds to critical.
Mind Trap on the next exciting episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
It does look like a really, really exciting episode from the trailer. And it is an exciting episode.
Show.
Sorry, was that Sean?
Sorry, cough. I just said total show.
Oh, don't, oh no. You kind of say that every episode.
Yeah, he doesn't like them.
Don't get me started, Sean.
You're going to have the wrath of Tavi. Yeah.
They're some of the best episodes.
They are.
They can be, yeah.
Yeah.
But they have to work that bit harder to get the scores if they're a bottle show, because they didn't try anything else.
Yeah.
Which means they're actual quality shows.
Which means they're really good when they're getting 7s and 8s then.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But they're not going to impress me with the special effects or the, big fights or anything else. Or the sets.
Here's your first picture. So the teaser, it opens up with Dr. Crusher and Lieutenant Barclay performing a play for the crew. Crusher's performance is really good. However, Barclay's performance is, well, quite frankly, awful. He has problems with props, forgetting his lines, and doesn't convey any of the emotions. But for question number 1, what play are Dr. Crusher and Lieutenant Barclay performing? Is it A, Romeo and Juliet, B, Cyrano de Bergerac, C, Le Cage aux Folles, or D, Edmund de Bergerac? I will put all that in the chat.
How do we answer this?
Oh, you could put it in chat, or you can just say it in a minute. Yeah, you can. You can just put it in the.
There's no clues in that shot, is there? Really?
There's no clues. I didn't leave it on this picture for any particular reason. But it's obviously Romeo, isn't it? Look at him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely Romeo.
It's got Romeo written all over him.
Howlin' Mad Murdoch as Romeo. I can see.
Yeah. But here's the real nub of the thing, though. For bonus points, can you name the act and scene? So there you go. Shall I say double points?
Do I get any points for the last one? I don't think so.
No. But yeah. So yeah, was it Romeo, Juliet, Cyrano de Bergerac, Le Cage aux Folles, or Edmund de Bergerac? Bonus points.
Like Jaws or something.
Yeah. Is it what act and scene? I nearly said it out loud. There we go. Good luck, Sean, calculating all that.
Oh yeah, that would be something I was supposed to do.
That's your job. Get on it, Chief. Okay, so at the end, they all applaud. All that is, apart from Data, who's looking rather bemused.
I thought he was being quite rude, actually.
Data was being quite rude. Look at him, he's just like, why are they all applauding this?
He should know by now, shouldn't he? He should know by now why you applaud people politely.
He didn't even follow the method.
Around humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to assume somewhere along the way.
Been to loads of these.
Nothing but endless concerts and concerts and concerts. I think he would know by now.
Yeah. Anyway, Riker tells him it's, they're being polite. So Data switches to polite mode. And they all congratulate Reg, Beverly. Oh, Beverly tells Wharf that...
Mode.
Sorry? Yeah, he went to polite mode engaged.
We wouldn't know because there's no photo on screen. What does that look like?
Oh, crap.
I need my fix.
Sorry, you've missed. Sorry, I had it in the wrong browser. You have missed
We're gonna get
a nice picture of Riker there.
Yeah, we need a picture of a very confused Data.
So there was the applause, and then there is the confused-looking Data.
that's his vinegar face, you know.
He's like,
and he is so fine. Panko, look at that man. Jesus. I wish he was frowning at me like that. Like, what are you doing? I'll be like, I don't know, but I'm glad you're looking at me.
Just look at me.
So he's learned how to look confused, but he hasn't learned that he needs to clap when somebody does a performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a bit odd that he learned like that method acting would be like equal to like a better actor or whatever. Seems like
it does. Yeah. Andrew says that's his I hate this face. Yeah. Beverly tells Wharf there's room in her class for if he wants to have a go, and Wharf's not impressed by that at all. So you saying, Sean?
You were saying I hate this, and I said more, please.
Yeah.
This is revolting. I hate this.
I hate this. Yeah.
Yes, I got that one.
It took everyone a moment there.
Yeah. I get it now.
Room.
Yeah.
I got it immediately. I was just on mute.
I need one of these sound effects for that one. Yeah. Okay, Diana tells him she thinks it takes courage to perform on stage, and that he's made strides on his confidence and how he interacts with people. Barclay doesn't want to accept the compliments, though, as he still doesn't feel worthy. Poor Barclay. I mean, it does take a lot of guts to get up on stage like that. I wouldn't like to do it.
If you've practiced whatever it is you're performing, it kind of goes away. You just focus on what you're doing. The few times I've been in shows, it's not really an issue because you practice it and you practice it and you practice it and you're not thinking about the audience. You're just focusing on doing your job, like any routine.
Yeah, well not always. You know,
yeah.
Like I've been doing this for 2 years, and before every live stream, I still shit myself. So
I was put in charge of a play when I was 15. I was put in charge of a play when I was 15 because the guy running the drama group was friends with my uncle, and he basically gave me a play, but every second line was mine. I had all the kids, like I was say 13 and they were all like 11. So like every second line was mine, so I had to prompt everyone else to give me a line for the whole like 40-minute play. And then I just froze and didn't put out the first line for like about 2 or 3 minutes till everyone started talking, and I had to roar it out. And eventually, after that, it was fine. But I actually froze there for about 3 minutes in front of 300 people. I was like, just say something. Just say anything. Eventually, the line came out, but the whole play went through me. So it just stopped if I didn't do it.
the most nervous I was in front of an audience. Like it stretched as far back as I could see, and like it was as part of a duo. And we had practice, but like I was still like, oh, this is so nerve-wracking.
I'd just freeze. I'd be terrified. I'd have that fight or flight response. Like the adrenaline just goes, and I'd end up a wreck. Anyway, here we go. We're on the bridge. We actually get a captain's log, and we learn that we have arrived at the Argus array, and they are checking out why it went offline. Data here reports that the array's fusion reactors are going critical as the computer is offline. Wharf picks up there's an alien probe near the array. Just checking you are seeing the pictures. Yes. Picard orders LaForge to go take a look, so LaForge takes Barclay in a shuttle, and they try to scan it, but they're unsuccessful. Barclay thanks Geordi for inviting him along on the mission, because he doesn't usually get invited. And then the probe emits a flash, which knocks out the shuttle's computers, and Barclay with it. Anyway, you see him lying on the deck of the shuttle. And that is the end of your teaser. There we go. But back to question number one. What was the play that they were performing Was it Romeo and Juliet, Cyrano de Bergerac, Le Cage aux Folles, or Edmond de Bergerac?
It's Le Cage aux Foix.
Oh, was it? Le Cage.
The birdcage.
Le Cage aux Foix, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Double L's are silent in French. You
All
can
right.
just say the birdcage. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. One of those. Hopefully we had lots of bees. Because it was
You had a hive of bees.
Did we have a hive? I'm covered in bees. Yes. B.
Yeah, bees all around.
B. Bees.
For anyone who wants to look at it later, I'm dropping in a complimentary link to a very delicious data Twitter edit. That's just for everyone's enjoyment. You can do that on the side screen. It adds to this experience. It's part of the show.
Okay.
We know we're gonna get a bit of the bad boy in Picard season 3 coming up. Tavi's not happy.
Oh yes. Oh, I finally gotten over it because there is actually one way in which they can make it work. One way that I have faith in that I would be like, oh, shit. And then I would be like, all right, you can bring Laura back. One way.
Did anybody get the act and scene though? Dan, do you know what the act and scene was?
There were a few guesses.
What do we have? We had Act 3, Scene 7. Act 3, Scene 3.
It says 3-9.
3-1 for Andrew. Did I miss one?
Act
Ruth's
7.
2:16.
I put 2:16.
Well,
Act 4, Scene 7.
Oh, Act 4, Scene 7. Good guess.
I noticed there's a 47 in this episode.
A 4 to 7. Yeah, it's a good one.
Good guess, Sam, but it is a real play, so that doesn't work.
Does the nearest get points?
Well, the nearest, I reckon, should get some points, and it is Ruth. Well done, Ruth. You did get closest. It's actually Act 2, Scene 6.
Because it was in Act 2.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If it wasn't for that one there, you would have been spot on. But well done, everybody, for getting the question right. It is B.
Woohoo! Oh man, Ruth, if you go ahead of me, you get to see me do the con voice at you live. And I get to see your face as I.
Did you
get to do what live?
The con voice. Whoever gets like the best start out, who's the threatening opponent.
Right.
The con.
Do you want me to put that Twitter link in the actual chat?
You can, you may. It's a delicious link. Oh my god, I almost fell out my chair the first time I saw it. I had heart problems.
Okay, there's something for you guys there to enjoy, straight from Tavikins.
It's delicious.
I dread to think what I've actually just linked to in chat.
Deliciousness is what you did. That was for humanity. You're a philanthropist right now.
Is it under the tab chat or the tab comments?
Just the most recent one saying the vault. They're the most recent comments.
Yeah, it's just from the vault.
Be sure to hit live chat at the top, or else you're only going to get top comments.
I can't see any comments coming up.
Oh, in live chat.
Not on YouTube, not on StreamYard.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, sorry, I don't use StreamYard. It's in YouTube. You need a second device.
Yeah, although she did put it. Tammy did put it in StreamYard, so it's there.
It is in the StreamYard chat. Yeah. Okay, where was I? Where was I? Act 1. We're on to Act 1. Is a cool shot. I like this shot of the Enterprise approaching the array. It's a lot of Enterprise like shots that were made for this episode, which is really nice.
I was really impressed with the maneuvering later on.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite shots of the Enterprise, that one. Barclay and the Forge have been beamed directly to sick bay to treat Barclay. And on the bridge, Data confirms that they have never encountered anything like this probe before. Wharf informs the bridge crew the probe is moving towards them. So Riker orders shields up. In sickbay, the doc informs them that the flash overloaded his optic nerves, so Geordie's visor saved him from that. She still needs to process his seroaminos scans, to be sure. Barclay tells her she won't have to wait because she can use the scanner on global mode. But she brushes the idea off, but Barclay's convinced it will work. Suddenly, the Enterprise goes to red alert. But question number 2, Dr. Crusher passes seroaminos data to one of the sickbay medics. But what is the sickbay medic called? Is it Ogawa, McCammon, Martinez, or McCluckage? I'll put those names in chat just in case I completely mess them up. There you go. So yes, Ogawa, McCammon, Martinez, or McCluckage. I didn't make these names up. Well, I did slightly, but they're all valid names. For bonus points, though, got bonus points on this one as well. Which of those sick bay nurses and medics doesn't serve on the Enterprise D? So, yeah, I'm probably just going to confuse things here because people can say BD, ADB.
Well, that's going to tell us what's not the right answer then.
Yeah.
Okay, can everyone just go like...
Forget that, yeah. Sorry, I'm just making Sean's life a misery, basically.
Yeah, okay. Let's just not do that one.
I didn't think that one through, Sean. I did. Yeah.
Oh, you could do like if they didn't serve in the Enterprise D, where did they serve?
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you could put two answers in, the main answer and then the secondary answer. So, who did she hand the seroaminos data to? That's the first one. And then which one of them didn't serve on the Enterprise D? Yeah. Right, moving on.
It's probably not a good idea to put the same letter twice.
Oh, gosh. No. Yeah, that's probably not going to be the correct answer. Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, here we go. It's a nice shot of the command there. On the bridge, the probe's approaching, and they can't detect any method of propulsion. Riker orders Helm to back away from it. So then we get this cool shot, again, done for this episode, where we see the Enterprise going backwards with the probe in hot pursuit. There's a... Pick that one.
Thank you.
I picked that one just for you. That one's a just for you shot, that is. Data informs them an energy field is building up around the probe, and Wharf points out that the Enterprise computer could be just as susceptible as the shuttle and the stations. Picard orders 180 and to head off at half impulse. And again, we get another shot just done for this episode where the Enterprise does a kind of half roll, 180 spin, and then heads off at half impulse. It's one of my favourite shots of the Enterprise manoeuvring in TNG, and they use it, I think, quite a number of times after this episode. But it looks fantastic. Do you guys like this shot?
Yep, big fan of the ample nacelles.
You like an ample nacelle? Yeah.
I do too. Fully functioning one.
I was going to do a bad Scottish accent, but we have Dan, so he can do it properly.
Well, he can do a good Scottish accent, not a bad one, Sean.
Yeah, I didn't mean he can do a bad Scottish accent.
Can he do a bad Scottish accent?
Can you do Scotty? Like a Canadian trying to be Scottish,
Good one and a bad
not
one.
quite getting it right.
That'll be difficult, but I can do Scotty. But yeah, a Canadian doing Scotty would be more difficult.
Well,
he was all right. He wasn't terrible.
we all want to hear your
challenge.
we want to hear your bad Scottish accent now.
We want to hear your Scotty, yeah.
So what does he say about the ample nacelles?
I'd love to get a hold of her ample nacelles or something to that effect.
I'd love to get a hold of her ample nacelles.
No, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, let's get there, all right.
It's got that right amount of slipping between Irish and Scottish.
Yeah, I was accidentally going into like Northern Irish.
Yeah. That worked really well.
I think that's the point, though. It's bad enough.
Yeah, it was good. It was badly good.
My sister Street.
The engine's gonna take any work up.
My sister lives up the north, and it's always great fun seeing her kids trying to use Alexa. Just endless fun.
Yeah, so that they try shooting the probe to no effect. Geordi and Barclay pump everything they've got into it, and Wharf gives it a second blast, but still nothing. There's nothing they can do, apparently, to this probe. The energy...
I don't know. I don't know if anybody appreciates that scene, but for the first time, Wharf wanted to just shoot it. Yes. And the captain was like, okay.
Yeah.
Shoot it. And he got to shoot it, and then unfortunately it didn't work.
He almost did a double take, didn't he? I want to shoot it at phaser, full power, and Picard was like, okay. It's like, what? What?
How do I fire these?
Just press the button.
You do remember how to fire phasers.
Yes. Yeah. It's first contact, wasn't it?
Yeah. Great line.
The energy output of the probe is now starting to overload the shields, and then they drop to impulse. Down in engineering, Geordi and his team are confused at how they suddenly lost warp power. But then Barclay steps forward and tells the bridge, fire a full spread of photon torpedoes. Everyone's worried that it's going to be too close and they'll be destroyed, but Barclay's convinced they'll be fine. Geordi confirms it should be, so Picard orders Wharf to fire everything, and they blow up the probe. Kablooey.
Watching that scene, I was kind of like waiting for it to end, and might turn out that it was a holodeck, and it's just the Barclay like acting out his holo fantasies again. But no, it's actual.
Yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it? When he's like taking command and everybody's relying on him, and then it's like, computer end program. Yeah, that's true. The thing is, then Picard thanks Barclay, and down in engineering, Barclay then apologizes to Geordi for maybe overstepping his post, and Geordi just walks away from him, muttering, "Oh, don't mention it." But he doesn't even say, "Oh, thanks for saving us," or anything like that.
No,
he
I thought that was really odd.
Geordi hasn't come off well in the last few episodes, has he?
No,
he doesn't seem like a good leader either. Like in the middle of war, they were seconds away of death. If you have the solution, overstep the head officer if you have the solution. And he should be like patting him on the back, be like, "Oh, engineering, whoop whoop." I didn't understand why he was like,
yeah.
I don't know if you covered this before, Monty, but they were toying with another chief engineer before.
Well, he knew that something was wrong, but
yeah.
And the guy they put in started leaking the scripts, and I forget the guy's name, and he started leaking them to like fanzines, and he suggested his character. No, not McDuff, and I'll have to look up his name. But basically, he started leaking scripts to the fanzines, and he was trying to get a letter writing campaign to try and keep him on the show, and suggesting he was going to be killed off.
It was Chief Engineer McDuff.
Was it?
Yeah,
was it?
From the first season.
Okay, I was thinking McDuff
second season, first season, yeah. He started a whole petition and stuff, but it turned out that he was fraudulently like pretending to sign for like hundreds of people. Nobody cared.
There was a similar story about Gene Roddenberry leaking scripts and stuff.
Yeah. we never saw that engineer again.
Yeah, Rodney, when they started changing things against his will for phase 2 and the motion picture started leaking them and everyone was fine with it. He was trying to get a backlash going, didn't happen.
I was just laughing at Andrew saying double D for the last answer. Yeah, very good.
Sorry, Argyle.
Very clean on.
Argyle was the guy.
Argyle. That's the guy.
McDuff was the guy, the intruder from like the fake first officer.
You should know that if you're from Plymouth, right?
Yeah, Argyle. Yeah. Green Army. Anyway, nobody else will know.
I'm your general.
Yeah. Yeah. Stu Plum, you say it's not a problem anymore. Was there a problem? And Mazza Bob, yes. Don't forget to like the stream. Thank you very much. Very professional of you, Mazza. Thank you. Yeah. So that's Geordie being a dick as Geordie has been in this season. But the answers to the question then. So, who did she pass the Aminos data to? Hopefully people started their answer with C, Martinez. We talked about...
We only have one C.
Oh, I'm doing well today.
Oh, well done, Ruth.
I thought that was a red herring. We just had Martinez in the last episode.
Yeah, we talked about Martinez a lot in the last episode, which is why I thought people would remember him.
And I was like, he's so tall. I'd remember if he was in this one, but maybe they talked about him being off screen.
It's always a risk going against the crowd. But...
At least two. There must be at least two C's.
Ruth, you're getting it now.
Okay.
So which one of those didn't serve on the Enterprise D?
I just watch it.
It's B, McCammon.
Most people put D.
Yeah.
So Ruth gets 10, and then everyone else gets 0.
Okay. C and B. Ogawa, of course, is Nurse Ogawa.
No, Dan gets. Dan answered C as well.
Oh, well done, Dan. Good job, sir.
Oh, am I missing Dan? Oh, we put it in the other chat.
In the local chat.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Is there another chat I'm supposed to be able to see?
Yeah.
The StreamYard one, private chat, but live is good.
Yeah, it's fine. I just need to check for scores. It's all good.
We're just causing chaos in this episode. It's fine.
We're just trying to mess with Sean.
Mess with time.
Yeah.
Mess with Sean.
So yeah, Ogawa is obviously Nurse Ogawa. Martinez we've talked about quite a lot and is in something like 69 episodes. McCluckage, there's an episode where Beverly takes Nurse Ogawa on shore leave, and Nurse McCluckage subs in for Ogawa when she's not there. So yeah, those are the three that are on the D. McCammon is mentioned in Deep Space Nine as being a casualty of war on another starship. Yeah, we never actually see that nurse. It's just mentioned as a lost soldier.
I'm not very fond of your quiz tonight.
Sorry, I am so sorry. I
don't feel that genuineness in that because you've done this before, and this is a habit, and I'm starting to be concerned.
I'm trying. I'll do better for you in the next question. It'll be fine.
And multiple choice, not just really open questions.
That'll be next week.
Essay next week will be
not
essay.
Like name the episode that we saw this device in.
Yeah.
Before.
What was the star date? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
John Delancey starred in which 80s rom-com?
Yeah.
Or techno-babble questions.
Did anyone see, just going around the internet, there was an ad for cough syrup with John Delancey there the last few days?
No.
From the 80s. Okay, then it doesn't matter.
Has everybody seen the new trailer for Picard Season 3?
Yep, looking good.
Yes.
I haven't actually, but
lore,
Steve, you did.
or possibly not lore. Jordy just thinks it's lore, but it could be someone else.
They think it's lore. I think that's what it's lore.
I don't think it's anyone.
Well, they think it's lore, but
Is it a CGI lore?
No, it's just data. It's just Brent Spiner.
Actually commented on it, like it actually is lore, but I have to check that.
But he's aged. He's an aged lore.
But he's an aged lore.
Yeah. It's Brent, not de-aged, not in yellow makeup.
It's lore as an old man.
Although it could be.
That was really annoying with Dr. Sung. Why would you make an immortal android and age? What's going to happen when he's like 200 years old? Is his bioplasm fall and he got to put a new set on? What is that going to even be like in 500 years?
Actually,
what is he thinking?
There's like tons of options where it's not necessarily lore. It could be like a Q or a shapeshifter, like taking the form of lore.
That's true.
Data from a different universe.
Could be B4, or could be another one of Data's creations, or one of his people, or
I reckon
could be the other prototypes.
There's two other prototypes.
Could be any of those things.
Jordy thought it was lore and said lore. It doesn't mean it is. And even Brent was on a panel, and they said talk about being lore, and he wouldn't even say it was lore. So maybe it's just playing with people.
Don't lift my hopes, because if it is someone other than lore, I'll be like, thank you, Sky Daddy.
I can tell. There's one or two things in there that are going to be red herrings.
You love lore more than Data, don't you, Tammy?
That's why every now and then I'm called lore. I love lore. Oh my God, lore.
You're breaking up, Tavikins, unfortunately.
I am.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Am I back?
You are.
You're good now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm in love with lore specifically. Data's just delicious, but Laura is just luscious. Oh my God.
Woo! He's evil.
He's a bad boy.
She likes a bad Data.
I like evil. That's my alignment in all D&D campaigns. I am the evil one.
Did you like Loki?
I did.
I thought you might.
Are you chaotic evil?
Yeah.
I'm usually lawful evil or neutral evil.
Dirty evil. Right. Now, the Enterprise is working on how to fix the array. Riker meets Barclay in a corridor and tells him he wants to know how he ensured they wouldn't blow up. Barclay goes on about explaining it, how it's harmonics and attainers and actuators, and it all sounds very complicated. And Riker tries to pretend to understand what he's talking about, but in the end, as he walks off, you can tell that he didn't have a clue. That's his. I don't have a clue what that conversation. I know exactly how he feels. I line manage a lot of software engineers, and I often ask how their morning's gone, and then regret my life choices.
Just say you're winning, son, and leave it at that.
Yeah. In the observation lounge, Geordi outlines his plan to bring the reactors online one at a time, but then Barclay jumps in and takes over the briefing, saying that they could do them all at once. And they would do it by recreating the computer core on the array. Data thinks that will take at least 11 weeks, but Reg reckons he'll knock it out in 2 days. Riker nearly falls off his chair, and Deanna is sensing something is different with Reg.
I would have to say, at that point, he was being rude. I'm like, you didn't even raise your hand.
No.
You don't get to talk over the engineer. You don't have to raise your hand. But you know what I mean. I'm like, oh, he just got up there and said, bump your shit. My plan. I'm like, oh, damn.
He went full black suit Spider-Man tree, just the whole rumba dance, jazz flute.
Yeah. Reg goes back to practicing his performance of Cyrano de Bergerac with Dr. Crusher in her acting class, and this time he knocks it out of the park and brings Crusher to tears. And actually it is a great performance from him in this scene, I think.
It is a great performance, but she's looking at, I think that character is supposed to die in the play, but she's going, when you come back as a ghost, I am going to break that D off.
I'm going to light that candle every night.
This is his death scene, yeah.
Get that wax going.
No candles involved. I also think it's a great scene from Crusher because she really sells the fact that she's taken with his, she looks truly moved.
Into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it sort of odd that in both this scene and the very first scene, like the character that Crusher is playing is like a romantic interest, and that's...
Yeah, Roxanne. Yeah.
Oh, is it the same play?
It's the same play. Yeah, this is still Bergerac. And yeah, she's playing Roxanne. So Bergerac's like in love with Roxanne, but Roxanne's in love with one of Bergerac's like soldiers. Because he's rubbish compared to Bergerac, but Bergerac's ugly. So Bergerac, in the end, helps them fall in love by writing the love letters on behalf of this soldier. And so she thinks she's falling in love with this really eloquent person, but what she's actually really falling in love with is Bergerac, but she never really realizes it until this scene when he dies. So there you go. That's the play.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for saving 3 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
I realised I thought it was like 2 different plays because like you don't see Barclay in this scene and like the costuming and makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
Different.
This is actually in the class, you see, so they're practicing the end of the play for the next showing. But anybody?
The first one went so well, the rest of the crew has to see it again.
Anybody know the acting scene for this one? It's actually.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
2-7.
Did you get that sound effect
Towards
with
the end.
the crickets or the tumbleweed?
No, I didn't get to the button in time. Sorry, no.
'Cause that's what you need right now. If you say act whatever again.
Okay, it's Act 5, Scene 6. There you go. I did the sound effects. One thing I did notice is as Barclay goes to leave here, he's looking at his eyes, and just as he turns around and leaves, his eyes dart downwards and he walks off. So he does check out her chest just as he walks off screen. But Troy's watching all this going on agog, and she follows him to 10 forward. So question number 3. We learned...
By 10 forward, you mean they stay exactly where they are and they just change...
The set changes all around them. And yeah.
Sorry, go on. They move out the part blocking
No,
the window.
they walk all the way to
Exactly
10
where they-
forward. Yeah. So question 3 then. We learned that Barclay was in love with Troy in the last episode that he was in. But what was that last episode called? Was it A, Hollow Pursuits, B, Realm of Fear, C, Ship in a Bottle, or D, Genesis? Hollow Pursuits, Realm of Fear,
Hold on.
Ship in a Bottle.
Sorry.
There you go. I'll put the answers in the live chat there for anyone else who wants to see what them were. No follow-up questions with that one. But I figured that's a nice one. That's not too bad. That's not. So yes, we're in 10 forward now. Absolutely not the theatre room.
Yeah, they played to them for having the theatre room and 10 forward in the same episode because you know they'd obviously have to shoot on different days to fix it. So there's a bit of logistical difficulty in that because they have to shoot quite out of order to fix it all up.
And it was almost the same way they dressed it when they last had the play.
It was only 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago. So.
The only difference was that in the last one they had individual chairs on the tiers, but this time they had benches.
Yeah. Well, I suppose benches probably makes sense.
It's just easier, I think. I just realised that actually saying all the chairs out, that was a pain. So.
But you imagine as a flat back set with hinges and you just pull it out and it just goes clunk, just as one piece. So I think just simplicity, they learned that it's easier to dress that way.
I thought this table was damaged along the edge of it when I first saw this scene, but actually it's just light reflections off like the plastic. Yeah.
You see that little pyramid? I might have mentioned this before. That's actually a commercially available game that they had. And if you find one on eBay, like a little 80s, like really crappy game, and like, you know, Pong or something. And if you find one on eBay or something, it'll go for $400 or $500 because it's a screen use prop. They're very much in demand.
I think it was actually made by Nintendo. But yeah, you're right. They're like £600 if you find one.
Yeah, if you ever happen to, I don't know if they came out in the UK. I certainly never remember seeing one over here. But you know, if you happen to find one in someone throwing one out or something, keep it. It's worth a bit of cash.
Yeah. Anyway, Troy joins him at the table here in 10 Forward, and she tells him that his acting was brilliant and that he's changed. Barclay confirms that over the last couple of days, he's found a new confidence. He asks her to walk with him in the Arboretum, but she declines as she's his counsellor. But he tells her he doesn't need a counsellor, he needs a charming, intelligent woman. She kind of chuckles and says goodnight to him and leaves. But, you know, it almost worked. The next day in engineering, Barclay doesn't turn up for the morning meeting and instead is found in holodeck 3. It looks like he's reverted to his old ways, so Geordie heads off to find him. I chose this picture of Geordie's engineering crew because they're a nice-looking bunch of people, aren't they?
Yeah.
Geordie...
ask us what they're all
They look
called.
really sharp. Everybody's looking sharp today.
Yeah.
They look smart.
I seem to recognise the guy in the middle.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only guy I really recognise.
I'd say he's Riker's stand-in for lighting and stuff. I was more thinking that the four of them have different skin colors, but they're all lit really well, which is kind of awkward to do. So fair play to the lighting guy for making it work.
Yeah. So yeah, a good-looking engineering crew there he's got. So yes, Geordie's heading off to holodeck 3 to go find Barclay. And when he gets there, he finds Barclay deep in discussion with a holodeck representation of Einstein, and they're discussing the grand unification theory. Geordie interrupts and asks him what was that all about, and then regrets it when Reg explains. Geordie tells him he's changed, but Barclay's like, why would it be so bad? I'm now as confident as the rest of you, like I've always wanted to be. But Geordie's like, it just is bad, so now come with me and see the doctor. So they head off to see Beverly.
Just before you go, that's obviously he's the other guest star in that episode. And his name is Jim Norton.
Yes.
He's actually Irish, despite his terrible German accent, which isn't any good. But he's more famous for playing Bishop Brennan in Father Ted.
Yes.
So Tavi's like, I might as well have said that in Spanish for all Tavi understood, but it's like, you address me by my proper title, you little bollocks. That guy. That's the same
that at all.
Sorry, Tavi, we just have to, it's a sitcom starring Irish people, written by Irish people, but went down on British television. So
Watch some Father Ted.
I've heard of Father Ted, but I haven't seen any of it.
It's decent. Have you seen the IT Crowd?
I have.
Yeah, same writer. Well, one of them.
Okay.
He's also in about 5 episodes of Babylon 5 as several different characters. Yeah. Right, they've gone to see Beverly, and she's astounded because Reg's neurotransmitters have gone through the roof. Everything's improved. His intelligence, his artistry, everything. Reg reckons his IQ is around 1,450. And everything about him is enhanced. In fact, he's possibly the most advanced human being that's ever lived. And then Geordie stood there looking really pissed. I think he's thinking, this bloody visor, that could have been me. But he doesn't look very happy about the situation. And that was the end of Act 2. So he looks so unimpressed, says Supreme Panko. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so going back to the question then, what episode did we first see Barclay? Was it Hollow Pursuits, Realm of Fear, Ship in a Bottle, or Genesis? And it was, hopefully we had lots of A's, because it was Hollow Pursuit, of course, where it was...
It was spelled HOLO, not HOLLOW. Just episode.
Holodeck.
Hollow was in holodeck. Yeah.
Oh, I spelt it wrong, didn't I?
Yeah, well, you spelled it right, but wrong in terms of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure Memory Alpha has got that as well.
Okay. I was pretty sure it was Hollow Pursuits because it was like it's Hollow Deck, but it's worthless because he's not interacting with real people. It's like a double meaning. They were trying to be clever. Yeah.
Oh, no, you did spell it right. Sorry, my mistake. I had it in my head the other way. Must be thinking of a different episode.
The other Hollow Pursuits.
No, another episode with Hollow in it, but I can't think what it is.
Maybe. Yeah, so that was the first episode where he was addicted to the holodeck. But all those episodes are all Barclay TNG episodes.
So I've got a question. Basically.
Yes.
So in the course of this episode, they seem to comment on, Troy comments on like he's not only acting, he's interacting. So I thought, like, is that a comment on basically like any sort of form of recreation or whatever that doesn't involve other people would be like frowned down upon by Star Trek. For example, like reading is not as good as something that involves other people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
it's just in his.
But I know when you're acting, you're not just
case,
you're not supposed.
It wasn't healthy what he was doing on the holodeck, whereas this is.
But I think it was more that when you're an actor, you're not supposed to just wait for someone to finish saying their line. You say their line, they say their line. You're supposed to react like they've said that line to you for the first time, like you don't know what they're going to say, and then react, back and forth. If you're just waiting for them to finish so you can say your line, it comes off like reading a line. That might be what they're referring to. Possibly, don't know.
Yeah, I think it is.
But the holodeck
you have to emote and empathize. Yeah.
The holodeck gives you the other characters that react to what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's not working from a script. That's people saying things that you don't know what they're going to say and reacting naturally. When you're reading off a script and someone says, he murdered him over there, they go, you know they're going to say it, but you have to act like you haven't heard it before. So that's the hard part. Is pretending to listen and pretending to be reacting to what they're saying.
Yeah, I think it's like Ruth said, though. It's because he just squirrels himself away and shuts himself off from the crew. But at least whilst he was acting, he was out performing with people, attending the classes, working with actual people. Whether he was any good at it wasn't really the point. The point was it's just getting him out into the crew and doing something else. But
even on a ship like the Enterprise, you're bound to get cabin fever and go a bit crazy after a while.
I mean, let's face it, the captain's not exactly a people person, is he? In his own time, he'd rather just sit in his captain's quarters with a good book and a cup of Earl Grey.
A bit of tea and a flute, yeah.
Yeah. Let's face it, Barclay is a special case. Right, on with Act 3 then. Motoring along. Let me just check. It's going to go to the right screen. Picture. Right, we're in Picard's ready room, and they're discussing Barclay's condition. Riker wants to lock him up, which I thought was a bit harsh. Picard's asked if he's done anything threatening, and Troy's, well, he made a pass at me last night, and it was pretty good.
Great shot.
Yeah. Beverly chimes in that he taught violin last night at the same time as learning it. So, yeah, not a great deal of evidence. Picard tells them that we'll just have to suck it and see. On exiting, Riker wants to know if Barclay's pass was successful with Troy, but Troy just brushes him off. That's what we see there.
And there's a nice Riker lean as well.
A nice Riker lean. In engineering, the reactors are all starting to fail. with Reg's plan going down the toilet. They try to shut them down, but it doesn't work. Barclay can't do anything there because his interface isn't fast enough, so he wanders off to find a better one. On the bridge, Data informs them that the reactor will explode in 10 minutes and 43 seconds. It will start a chain reaction that will destroy the entire array.
I don't know if that's the website or because someone just turned on. I think I heard the microwave.
The microwave, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably interfering with your signal.
No, it's Trek Core. Their servers on their side are really slow.
Okay, but there's the return of the black box. Always good to see it.
Yeah.
And we've seen that ensign before. That's at con.
Probably, yeah.
I've been there for a few episodes.
I've got a question for you. Question 4. In this episode, they are trying to rescue the Argus array. But what is it? Is it A, a deep space weapons platform? Is it B, a subspace telescope? Is it C, a communications array? Or D, a galactic shopping center? I'll put that there.
Do they actually say this in the episode?
They do. They do, yeah. I think it's mentioned once in conversation and in a captain's log.
I think they reused that array for something else, and I think maybe the episode parallels, do they? Yeah.
I don't know. There we go.
Tabby's talking about tails.
I was going. There's a lot going on in chat there. You're busy with the keyboard there, Terry. Anyway.
Yes, I was writing I was revising the ode to Spot to ode to lore.
Oh right, the ode to lore.
So that I changed the poem ode to Spot to ode to lore because I got problems like that.
Ode to lore, want to be shaken to my core, be brought to the fore.
Very good.
So if you want to read into my fabulous,
I want to score.
I got 99 problems and lore is one.
Very good. Supreme Panko's appreciating your efforts.
Yeah, well, one, obviously the Klingon chair. 2, when he mentions, can I have a console, for use for my left hand or something like that, and they put it about 5 foot away from him.
Yeah.
What kind of hands do I think he has?
It's good.
Like, yeah, to my left hand and to my right hand. It's like, yeah, where are you going?
It's kind of irrelevant because he's about to create a neural interface, which means he doesn't need his hands. So that's all kind of for nothing. But I guess he maybe needed that to create the neural interface. But
yeah, maybe it's a middle step. Who knows?
Yeah. So yes, we see Reg here enter the holodeck. He requests a chair and a workstation. He asks for a neural interface, but the computer doesn't know what that is, so he has to create it from scratch.
Computer says no.
Yep, computer says no. On the bridge, 10 minutes have passed. Oh my gosh. Trek Core is throttling me now because I've requested so many pictures today. They're like, our servers can't cope. On the bridge, 10 minutes have passed and the reactors are now about to go critical, so Riker orders the ship to warp 2. However, Helm doesn't respond. Worf confirms that the computer says no. So the crew wait for the inevitable demise, but it doesn't come. The computers come back online, the reactors shut down. Picard asks if anyone knows what happens, but Data and Geordi both draw a blank. So he asks the computer, which responds with Barclay's voice. It reports that a neural link was needed to expedite repairs. I think when he becomes the computer in this, he really does sound like Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, well, I assume they have some sort of vocoder or something they put his voice through.
Definitely not a voice you want to hear.
No.
Talking like that, be like,
How are you doing, Dave?
Well, sort of reminded me of the animated series as well, because there's an episode of the animated series the ship's computer comes alive.
Yes. Yeah. Doesn't that happen in a Discovery short as well?
Yeah.
I'm imagining it.
In Discovery itself as well.
I guess, yeah, in Discovery itself, yeah.
Yeah, there's a short where they go 1,000 years into the future and the ship, in the old version, still exists. And, like before they did it up and went to the future, and someone first finds it. There's also, it's covered in the most recent Lower Decks, there's kind of like a wall of evil AIs. It's not the first time they've shown it. And I think most of the evil computers from the original series and the M5 and the Dyson computer and all that are all in it. Someone did
Along
put up a
with
shot.
Laura's head.
Is Laura's head in there?
Yes.
Fair enough. Didn't realize that.
The M5 is also in the very first shot of Lower Decks.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Did you review the latest Lower Decks episode on Saturday, Dan?
Yeah, we did.
I completely missed that, I'm afraid. I was out, but I'm glad I didn't, because I thought it was rubbish.
It leaned a bit too much into the Rick and Morty stuff. It just, it wasn't great. Definitely the weakest of the season.
What did you?
The best one yet?
Yeah, I figured that might be the case. You kind of go contrary to what I would think with those episodes. But yeah. Riker calls Barclay, and the computer replies, "Yes, Commander, it is me." So, bit of a creepy end to that act. With
I'm sorry, Dave, but can't let you do that.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. Daisy. Yeah. So, question 4 then, going back to the question, in this episode, they're trying to rescue the Argus array, but what is it? Is it a deep space weapons platform, a subspace telescope, a communications array, or a galactic shopping center? It is B, a subspace telescope. So, if you said B, congratulations. Sorry, Supreme Panko. It's not
okay,
C.
That brings Ruth back into the rest of us. Okay, grand.
Sorry, Ruth.
Well, hold on, I'll just tot it up there. Yes, it stays on. Okay, 30, 40. Okay, so 40 for Dan, 35 for Ruth. Maza, myself, Stu, Tavi on 30, Panko and Andrew on 20.
I thought Andrew in the chat makes a good point that it looks like cyber conversion from like Doctor Who.
Yeah, that definitely see that he mentions it, yeah.
Yeah.
Tavi's like, what? It's like, they're kind of like the Borg, Tavi.
Yeah. Kind of.
Except for they scoop your head out and they just put it in an android body, a metal body, and leave you go like that.
Yeah, I think they've got bits still in there. There's bits of them still in there.
It depends on the canon. Yeah, there's different versions.
Yeah, because there's one in the latest version of Doctor where they take it off like armor and put it on and pretend to be Cybermen.
Their home planet also changes. It's like some of them are from Mendos, some of them are from like Telos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't been watching so much of the Jodie Whittaker stuff. It's over soon, but yeah, it hasn't been good. We'll try again with the next Doctor and see where we are.
What are you going on about, Tavana? You're scaring Andrew in chat there.
No, you don't know the song from Rick and Morty, Get Swifty?
Oh, Get Swifty. Yeah. They're
like, take off your clothes, pull off your panties and your pants. Mr. Bulldogs.
They're performing to the big heads in the sky, aren't they? I think.
Yeah. No, Peko, I was trying to avoid
Show me what you got.
There is actually this fantastic rapper on YouTube who actually makes like actual radio quality rap songs from like cartoons and stuff, and he has one, Pickle Rick, that is awesome, and Getting Swifty, which I actually play in the morning to wake me up because they get to the chorus and they're like wubba lubba dub dub.
Yeah. Right, Barclay explain. We're in Act Act 4 now. We're getting towards the end. Barclay explains why he did it to the senior staff, and that his higher brain functions now reside in the starboard computer core. Because, like, that's nice. Now remove yourself from the computer. But Barclay says no. He cannot do that because it would mean his death. But he's going to say that, isn't he?
Yeah, I think in the technical manual, there's 3 computer cores on the Enterprise. There's obviously one, there has to be one in the star drive because it can be separated, and then there's 2 so that there's a redundancy in the star drive, and then there's one in the saucer. 2 in the star drive, 1 in the saucer. So that's why there's port and starboard and the saucer one. If you were ever bored enough to read the technical manual, there you go. Saved you some time.
There you go. I'll bring it out one stream and we can go through it together.
I haven't read it in 20 years. I really should start reading it again, but it'll be a while.
Likewise.
One of these days.
Yeah. In the observation lounge, Geordi disconnects the audio-visual from the room so Barclay can't listen in, and they discuss how they can extract him from the computer core. Data thinks he can establish an ODM bypass from engineering to the bridge. That will at least allow them to get to a star base for help. Picard says, make it so. I expected this scene to have like him looking from like a probe from the outside and reading lips through the window, like Hal, like Hal did. But no, he didn't.
That would have been awesome and creepy as all hell.
Well,
they just turn around. They just turn around and they're like,
yeah, it's like a little drone outside the window.
those windows face aft, so the probe would be generally they'd be facing the stern or the fore of the ship towards the not the fore. What do you call the front of the ship? What's the proper word? It's gone now.
Stern.
Bow, thank you.
Bow,
yeah, so like basically they're facing backwards, and the ship is facing the opposite direction towards whatever the array and the probe and things. So unlikely unless it comes around the back.
I got a fully functional fact.
No, I just meant like one of the Enterprise's probes, like one at like.
Oh, I have it. Yes.
What's your fully functional factoid?
In that picture, the outfit that Geordi is wearing is the outfit that they put on Lore when they put them back together, and it was last seen in the episode where he was like trying to mac on Leah Brahms, and it was creepy as all hell. #MeToo. And but yeah, that's Lore. That's Lore right there. That's his outfit. They didn't have to get him dressed, but they put clothes on him. But I wouldn't have minded otherwise. But hey.
Also, the floor grills there, they're freezer spacers, and they're reused quite a lot in various different sets. Normally, just put up against the wall with a backlight to make a cheap set. But they obviously cut them up like they're basically plastic pallets that they use in freezers to shove fish around. But they replace them after a couple of episodes and just put in standard rubber mats, the non-slip rubber mats, because presumably they were hell on the knees of the actors that had to do that scene that took 2 or 3 hours constantly kneeling on those.
Yeah, I would imagine. No knee pads.
No, it looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, so imagine you have to do a 6-minute scene can easily. Well, I mean, they generally shot 6 minutes a day on when they were shooting. So imagine how long it takes to shoot a 2-minute scene in there. It could take you, 3-4 hours. Wouldn't be good.
So yes, Geordi here has donned the Allure overalls and entered the Jeffries tubes. Reg contacts him as he's surprised that he's not in his quarters. Why ain't you in your quarters, Geordi? Geordi lies that he's doing a level 3 diagnostic. So Reg goes on about understanding the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. And he's going to show the human race what he can do. They compare the Enterprise speed to warp, he says. He will now take them to ludicrous speed. Geordi's like, okay. But question
Show me what you got.
Show me what you got. But question 5. How many pins does Wharf wear? Is it 1 gold, 1 black, 2 gold, 2 gold, 1 black, or 1 gold? How many pins does Wharf wear? I should have said in this episode. I think it's pretty much always wears the same, but in this episode.
Well,
he gets promoted to generations.
Yeah.
Well, Wharf goes through quite a lot of ranks because he gets promoted quickly. He moves up to chief of security faster than he probably should because of Tashiar, and then was moving away in the Warrior. He gets promoted again, so he moves relatively quickly. He does 15 years worth of ranks in about 5 years, which is about the same time it took Alexander to be born and grow to 20 years old. So, hang on.
Yep, you should have had that checked.
Out 2 goals sound like a cheap lager you get. That's like a knockoff Dutch thing.
Yeah. Out in the front of the ship appears a red shimmering thing. Wharf confirms it as a red shimmering thing. Data confirms it as emanating from their own warp nacelles. Picard asks Picard asks the Barclay computer if he is responsible for it, and he confirms that he is. He's pretty sure he will be able to take them halfway across the galaxy. They order him to stop, but he'd rather not. He is sure that they will be pleased by the results. Troy heads to the holodeck to have a word with him. Is she going to be successful?
Really interesting.
Sorry, what was that?
The image that you had up was really interesting.
This one.
Also,
yeah, because it's like it almost looks like the Starfleet Delta.
Yeah,
it does, doesn't it?
Well, and if you look to the right, do you see it kind of like 3 o'clock? There looks like another Delta kind of flying into it.
Over here.
No, not on the left, the other side.
Oh, the other side. Oh, here.
No, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it kind of looks like another Delta.
Yeah.
And on the other side as well. There. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just full of deltas.
Hold on. I appreciate everyone's input, but can you see the shoulder spread on Commander Data? Jesus Christ! Woo!
Yeah.
I'm done. Sorry.
You happy? Okay, that's good. Anyway, so Troy's headed down to the holodeck to have a word with Barclay. So in the holodeck, Troy tells him that, they're all frightened, and he compares them to children. He says he wants to earn her respect, but Troy's like, you've already got it. You've already got all our respect. He tells her she must trust him, but she does not. She ends by telling him that Picard will try everything to stop him, which kind of tips him off to what Geordie's doing.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy to say something like that to a supercomputer that's about to suck you into oblivion. Don't be making threats.
That's right.
I like the close-ups of that set, but that wide shot is like, oh, that's really tacky 90s vinyl plastic.
It looks better. It looks better when it's all moving.
Yeah, like when you make it still like that, you go, "Oh God, that looks so cheap."
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but the beams were a practical effect of some description because obviously it is hitting his head. So I wonder quite how they did that. There must have been some sort of mirror setup, but works pretty well.
Then we have this sort of good shot of the Enterprise sort of being sucked sideways into a rift.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. But again, a lot of new shots of the Enterprise for this episode. LaForge is finishing off his work in the Jeffries tube. When the ship goes to red alert, Barclay tells him he is too late and starts to take the Enterprise into the anomaly. And that was the end of Act 4. But question 5, how many pins does Wharf have? We got all our answers in.
Yeah, we've got a swarm full of bees again.
A swarm? Am I covered in bees again? I'm covered in bees. Well, it is 2 gold. And I was, just in case anybody didn't believe me, I did make a picture here so you can see it's 2 gold.
Yeah, as I said, 2 gold sounds like a cheap student lager to me, but anyway.
Hold on, I need a... there you go.
Like mixture of Tuborg and Dutch Gold.
Yeah, well done, everybody, for getting Bs. You all know your rank pins. There we go.
Oh, there's Chewie.
Yeah, that's Smiler Rainbow coming home with my son from Mai Tai.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. So yes, Act 5. That's why you haven't been seeing Smiler Rainbow, by the way, or Wrench in chat much recently, because she's taking my son to and from Mai Tai at this time on a Wednesday now. So,
fair play.
and there she is. Hello,
Rainbow. Smiler Rainbow.
She's just arrived.
Here she is. Hello.
There we go. So yeah, we're into the final act. We're on the homeward bound stretch. Picard orders Wharf to disable comms. He does the kill switch thing. Right.
I love that in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, that's Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm stupid as I look.
Yeah. Picard orders Wharf to disable comms and then orders him to go back down the holodeck and disconnect Barclay whatever way possible. So Wharf goes down to the holodeck with a security team who are effective as normal. First, they try running at Barclay and bounce off a shield, and then they try phasering the conduits, but it has no effect. While they're doing all this, Barclay's telling them that he's not taking it personally, which is a good job because they're just being sucked into a vortex of hell.
That's a nice
Wasn't it a Voyager where they went like beyond the speed of something and somebody mutated?
Yeah.
Yeah, threshold.
I was wondering. I was like, wait a second, but I did like it that they said like there was going to be some. Wait, is there about to be a question about this?
Wasn't there just Warp 10 that everything went crazy in Voyager?
It's supposed to be, isn't it? I think it's supposed to be this. Why they just go up to like 9.8.
Well, yeah. So on the warp scale, the faster you go, obviously, the more places you are at once. And if you go fast enough, you're everywhere all at once, which is impossible. But apparently, they find a way to do it. But that's just the warp system. This could be more like a wormhole, where the shortest distance between 2 points is just meeting them in the middle.
They've kind of
so it's like a wormhole you just jump through.
There's a Next Generation episode where they discovered like traveling warp has been damaging space or something.
Yes.
You do,
After that episode, apparently, like the warp scale is revised.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they forget about it after about 6 or 8 episodes, and they just realize it's not good for the plot to keep on saying, "Oh, you're allowed to travel fast," but every episode you have to travel fast. So
it did apparently, behind the scenes at least, it led to in Voyager where then the cells move,
rotate. Yeah. Later on, they went, "Oh, we found a technical way around that. It doesn't cause a problem anymore."
Mm.
But in all good things, they go up to 13. So.
Yeah. Okay, it's being sucked in. Another good shot of the Enterprise. And they go...
Sorry.
Okay.
I thought the bridge visual effects were a bit like in the motion picture.
Yeah. Even the sound and the effects, it was just that sort of like, oh, where are we going? Like sort of thing.
I'd imagine it's an optical effect where they're moving between 2 lenses, I would guess. So that's like focusing in and out 2 ways, and then it's kind of bulging. I'm not really sure.
It did give me motion picture vibes. Yeah.
Gave me motion sickness vibes.
Motion sickness. Yeah. But apparently it's a quantum level oscillation.
Oh, you just throw quantum in and that's fine.
It's a quantum level oscillation delay. Yeah.
But I love how the motion picture wasn't long enough. They had to have like a 2-minute slow down time sequence just to make sure it's extra, just to fill up the running time because it wasn't long enough as it was.
But it does kind of make sense because this is kind of taking them oddly through a wormhole, and they had a problem with their warp engine in no motion picture, which created an unstable wormhole. So I guess they were thinking it was kind of like the same sort of thing. So they used the same sort of effect.
Which also, I think it's quite similar to like the end of the 2nd season of Discovery, where there's a wormhole as well. But I thought like that seems like more like colorful or whatever, a little bit. But it seems like motion picture effects as well.
Well, I can tell you, Discovery, despite being probably the worst rated of the modern shows, has the biggest budget. They get about 8 or 9 million an episode. It's a hell of a lot of money, and they get nearly a month to shoot each one. They threw these TNG episodes. I think just for inflation, they got $1.5 million an episode, and they had to put them out in 10 days. And bear in mind how much cheaper it is to do special effects now. You know, it's costs maybe 1/10 of what it used to, and you can do so much more with it. So there's all that as well to be considered. So they did well with what they had.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I felt the disorientation.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's kind of a Hitchcock thing where they're zooming in and out. Either that, or they have two lenses and they're swapping them back and forth, or something to that effect.
So yes, they go through this oscillation delay, and it looks like all is lost, and they're about to fly apart. But then they exit, and it turns out they're near the center of the galaxy. And when they pop out, a big giant head appears on the bridge. And
well, like Shatner.
Yeah, not Shatner, not this time. No. Not the big giant.
There was something on the wing. The same thing happened to me.
I got
Sorry, I'll have to explain that. So in the show Third Rock from the Sun, there's a character called the Big Giant Head, and we eventually meet him, and he's William Shatner. And just normal William Shatner, not a floating head or anything. But besides that, he comes onto the episode and it's like, I'd take a plane over, or when I took over here, there was something on the wing from that episode of the Outer Limits. Twilight Zone, thank you, sorry. And then John Lithgow goes, the same thing happens to me, because they remade the episode 30 years later, and John Lithgow was in the same thing. So there's kind of an in-joke where he says, the same thing happened to me, but it's because they both did, he made a remake of the same episode. Sorry, random deep dive, we'll move on, apologies.
There's a big giant head on the bridge, and it starts describing everything that it sees. Picard demands to know what it's going on, and Barclay enters the bridge and tells them that he can help with that. It turns out that the head is a race that explores the galaxy, but instead of traveling around, they bring the galaxy to their home. But question number 6, what is the name of the race that made Barclay super smart? And is indeed the big giant head. Is it, now I'm going to massacre these words, I'm not very good at this, A, Chalnoth, B, Caledonian, C, Corvellan, or D, Cytherian? Now I will put those names in there.
I thought Dan was a Caledonian.
Maybe.
I guess it.
There we go.
No, Caledonian.
Caledonian.
Show me what you got. And then
show me what you got.
Show me what you got. Yeah, Chalnoth, Caledonian, Corva. Yeah, it's quite funny that we should have big giant heads and the same joke in the same episode. Yeah, Caledonian, Corvallan, or Cytherian.
Do you know when the Romans got to Ireland, they called us Hibernia,
Yeah.
as in hibernate, the land of winter, and they just didn't bother colonizing us. They just went, it's too cold, and they just left. And they got up to the Scots and they went, they're too much trouble, and they just built a wall. They left them alone as well. They didn't like the Celts. Just were more trouble than we were worth.
I'm pretty sure I know what all of them are.
Well, you can give us a run through in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so. I know.
You can take us through the board. Right.
What's the name of that guy? Steve Harvey.
Yeah. Is that Family Feud?
Naked Grandma. Oh, I love him.
Yeah. Okay. They spend 10 days with this new race. Yeah. They spend 10 days with the new race and they learn a lot. So much that scholars will be poring over it for decades. They then get returned to their original location and have another lovely shot of the big D. I love my D pictures. There you go. And we end in 10 forward. Yeah.
That looks suspiciously like the concert or the rehearsal studio.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
And also quite like the recital space.
Yep. Yeah.
Very similar.
Yep. This time it's turned forward and Barclay's lamenting that it's all gone. He can remember doing the things, but he doesn't remember how he did it. Geordie tells him you're just plain old Barclay now then. So that's really charming, that is. He's just been through all that and he's just like, oh, you're plain old Barclay. Barclay's like, yeah, I'm always plain old Barclay.
Good old broccoli.
Diana tells him,
Poor broccoli.
Poor broccoli.
He used to work with a guy called Brian Cooling, and his username of the system was BRCOOLI. I used to love it.
Diana tells him that he will learn from these experiences anyway. They will stay with him and change him forever. Geordie asks him if he wants to come help with his level 3 diagnostics, but Troy tells him he's coming with her on a date to the Arboretum. Barclay's shocked to be asked out by Diana. He's like, you really don't have to. But she's like, come on. Then on the way out of 10 forward, he solves a game of chess for one of his other crewmates. And Deanna's impressed, saying, I didn't know you played chess. Barclay's like, I don't. And that's how the episode ended.
Is it a bit of a pity date?
That was a solid move. I thought it was a solid move by Deanna Troy. Be like, look, dude did all that and he came back down and wasn't arrogant as all hell. And even when he was a supercomputer, he wasn't like super arrogant when he could have like blown up the whole damn ship. And I was like, yeah, you need to give that man a little titty. If you don't get nothing else, rub that titty on his elbow. She got that right up there. Good job, girl. For the team. Hold it down.
What do you reckon, Ruth?
I wondered if it was a pity date, but I like Tavi's Tavi's take on it.
Yeah.
No pity. This is for humanity.
She's taking one for the team. Yeah. And that's the end.
With that, like the end, and after they go through the wormhole being at like the center of the universe, I wondered if that was like supposed to be any relation to like the God thing in Star Trek.
What does God need with a starship?
Exactly. But then, like, I'm pretty sure I remembered like an article that Larry Nemechek wrote in the official Star Trek magazine where he looked into that and he was saying, no, they're not supposed to be the same.
Yeah, but they're at the same place at the center of the galaxy, and they're both sort of like ethereal looking white old dudes that's like semi-transparent heads. They're so similar in such the same place that it's a shame they didn't tie that up and make that something, because that could have like been expanded into other things as well, you know, and would have given some more weight to Star Trek V, which, let's face it, could have done with a bit of lift.
Yeah, well, they let Shatner do it. Funnily enough, Shatner went onto the set of Coming to America. You know, the throne room, the main set, and they have the wedding and everything in that. He walked in and he goes, oh, don't strike this. I can use this. So after they finished making Coming to America, they took the throne room from Coming to America and they redid it as the shuttle bay for Star Trek V.
Yeah.
I always find that funny. But he was cheap as he could be. And Will Wheaton tells the story about him being Will Wheaton going over onto the Star Trek V set to say hello, and he was incredibly rude and dismissive of him.
It's because mainly the film was made so cheap because the Paramount wanted to throw the money into the new Star Trek series. So because they were throwing all their weight behind TNG, there was no money left for the film. So
I suppose that's part of it.
Wasn't there also quite a few like reuses, like the corridors and stuff from TNG?
Yeah, not even redressed, just the exact same. Yeah.
Yeah, corridors. Engineering was exactly the same, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think they took the middle table out, but apart from that.
Yeah, it was a fairly lazy production. And they were, the way Will Wheaton says it, they were literally across the road from each other. Like, you know, they just like, you know, you walked like across the road and they had the adjoining sets. So like they could just pop across to each other's productions. So it would have been around this time, actually. Actually, no, it would have been a little bit earlier now I think of it.
But then again, I've said it many times, I love Star Trek V. I know it's got all its flaws, but I absolutely love it.
Although Cybok is due back now in the new year, so it might be redeemed when Cybok comes back. We'll figure that out. Cybok's going to be in the new season of Discovery.
Is he?
Or Or was it Discovery? What's that about? Oh, Strange New Worlds. Sorry.
Well, Strange New
Thank
Worlds.
you. Sorry, my brain fart. I was like, obviously not Discovery. No, he's coming back in Strange New Worlds.
Right. Okay.
He already came back. In the first
well, you see him from the back, but he's not.
You see his back.
But
his back comes back.
He's canonically before in Strange New Worlds, so we'll flesh out that character.
I forgot to get my my figure out for the figure of the week. Hang on a minute. Let's see, who should we choose this week? Have we had...
Smiler, apologies. I watch far too much Star Trek and far too often, so yeah. I have this in my head.
We established every day now that you've got Paramount.
Well, yeah. Well, I used to when it was on Netflix, and now I'm kind of back to that. Although, I didn't watch any today because I was in Dublin, and yesterday I'm kind of watching through the league again for a bit of fun, just a bit of variety.
Well,
I'm going through Voyager again.
Well,
I'm going through Voyager again. The first season or two isn't great.
I can't find the character I wanted. But here you go.
Someone just sent me a post saying that 30 years ago today, there was the Next Generation episode Relics. Brought Scotty back.
We were only just talking about that. Cool. Well, ample nacelles. Oh no, that's from Star
2009.
Trek 3. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the reboot. Yeah.
Whichever one the Excelsior's in. Is that Star Trek 4?
No, the ample nacelles is from the reboot. From it's not
2009.
Yeah, 2009. From Star Trek 1, I suppose, or whatever number you want to give to it. Star Trek 11.
Okay. I had in my head that was a reuse for something. Okay, I didn't realize that was the origin of it. So.
It's an easy figure this week because I just rushedly picked one out of my bag. Who is this?
That is Dixon.
Oh, yeah, isn't it Picard dressed as
Dixon Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a.
Unless it's Data when he went in there with him.
A bonus non-scoring point if you remember what Guinan's character's name was.
Gloria.
From the yes.
Gloria.
It was a question the other week, wasn't it? It was Gloria.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Where was she from?
She was Gloria from Cleveland.
There you go.
Cleveland. Gloria from Cleveland.
Okay, so
Trixie.
much like Tabby meeting all the song type androids in the one place, it would D's all around in the last round, so it didn't change any of the scores. So sorry. Oh, actually, there's a 4-way tie for third place. Maza, Sean, myself, Stu, and Tavi all on 40. Ruth on 45, and Dan the man, 50 points.
All right, Dan, it's happening. Dan!
That works really well. Dan!
Is that Dan the winner for today, was it?
Dan's the man, yeah.
Hey! Congratulations, Dan. Get cheers and applause.
I'll do the Alan Hartford thing when you
Let me get the old scoreboard up. Let's find the scoreboard. Was that, sir?
Was Chalnoth the alien looks a bit like Nosgun?
The alien, the head. What?
Yeah. Did the Chalnoth look quite like the Nosgun?
I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Nosgans always look like a predator, rip off of the Predator aliens to me.
Yeah.
Actually,
their name comes from anime.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah. Do you remember in Wharf's calisthenics program? There's kind of a skull face monster. Do you know this one, Dan? You're kind of nodding. You might know it.
Yeah, I do know it. It's from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, Michael Westmore made the mask as one of the Skeletor masks, and he reused it in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Also starring Robert Duncan McNeil, he went to play on Nicholas Sicarno and later Tom Paris.
Right, I'm just sorting out the scores. So,
some actress called Courtney Cox, who we never heard of again.
Never.
It doesn't still make $20 million a year from Friends.
No.
Sean was still from Friends.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, the show makes $1 billion a year, but I think each of them makes 20 million, and the rest goes to the studio. But even to this day, that happens.
Chat, sorry, Smiler. Yeah,
That's insane.
I've done it. I've done it. Sorry. Chat was not where it should be. There, I've sorted it out now. There we go. So Subspace Chat is now on 3. So that puts him overall in 3rd place, all by himself. We had like a 4-way tie for 3rd place at one point, but yeah, it's Subspace Chat in 3rd. Tavikin still on that 5 wins. Can't catch Stuplum for love nor money.
Dan, I'm gonna have a real problem with you. Okay, in a minute. I'm about to have a real problem. I'm sweating right here. I don't like that. He just got here.
Plenty of time.
I never liked that fella anyway. He wasn't right in the head.
Right.
If anyone gets that reference, fair play.
There you go. You get one of them for that. Yeah. So if I'm gonna have to shorten the chime and wind sound effect because it goes on too long. Yeah. So the Nth Degree, get in chat your scores. What would you score this out of 10?
My paddle doesn't arrive till Friday. There's a sentence I don't often get to say.
Oh, paddle. Yes.
Friday night, it's going to be lit. We'll be paddling up and down this town.
Paddle night with Sean.
I might as well just, because I don't have access to the YouTube chat, might as well just say like.
Oh, you could just again. Yeah, you could just do fingers.
I've been thinking all day. 8.
8.
Yeah.
8 from Dan. You have to record that, Chief Sean, because you've got to work out the averages.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I do.
Remember you?
Are we allowed to put up that Twitter link? Is there like a problem to do that?
Is that the same one that I posted earlier?
Yeah.
No, I posted it. It is there.
I mean, like, are you allowed to put it on screen?
Oh, you redecorated.
Is it anything rude?
It's not. It's not anything rude, but it's delicious.
No, it's no.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Whilst people are putting their chats into, putting their scores into chat, I'm just finding the link. Oh, there it is.
You can look at it on the side and see if you approve.
I'm just having a little look. Oh, okay, let's put that into that one then.
You gonna show us? You gotta do sound. Gotta do the sound.
Why is there no sound? Oh.
Gotta start it over. Woo!
Primary role of the second in command is to carry out the decisions of the captain. In this case, me. Primary role of the second in command is to carry out the decisions of the captain. In this case, me.
Hopefully I won't be copyrighted for that. Probably will be. Yes, right. Scores. Dan, yours was an 8. Let me just get chat back before Smiler Rainbow tells me chat's all over the place. We had Andrew with a 6, Ruth with a 7, Supreme Panko with a 6, Stuplum with a 7. Are you ready, Tavi? For your paddle? 3, 2, 1. 6. And I've gone with 8.
Yeah, I went 6 as well. Okay, I think that with the chat, everyone rounds out to 7.
Did Mazza Bob manage to put one in chat?
Mazza put in 6.
I think she put a 6.
Mazza put in 6, did she? So,
Yeah, well, excluding her in the chat, it's 2 6s and 2 7s. So, yeah. And I think we always, the rule is, what, 6.5, or do we always round up? I don't know.
Everyone rates it more than 5, I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you go for, Sean?
6.
For the bottle, yeah, I didn't think it would get higher than that from you.
And was it a 7 from you, Tavi?
Two bottling.
What was it? 6.
It was 2. Yeah.
It was a 6 from me.
6.
A bottle episode has to be special. Even Bishop Len Brennan in it didn't save it. And his terrible German accent. Like, I've lived in Germany. That's awful.
And the makeup was a bit janky too.
I could live with the janky makeup because it was the VHS era, but the fact that like they got an Irishman to play a German, like were there no Germans in California? Like, what did they do? It's like up the long ladder in reverse. It's just like, yeah, look, just get a German to do it.
Does Einstein appear at all in other
Star Trek productions? He appears in
Descent.
He appears in Descent.
And
he plays poker with Stephen Hawking.
I was trying to remember. I thought
Isaac
maybe
Newton.
Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
Okay. Stephen Hawking is played by Stephen Hawking, so fair play to him. He came on.
Yeah. So is that the same actor playing?
Same.
On Descent?
Same one, yeah. Jim Norton,
yeah.
And he was also in American History X, which I don't remember him in, but Avery Brooks and Jennifer Leanne were both in that. Or is it? I don't know if it's Leanne or Lean. One of those. Anyway.
So what was the average from the live chat scores?
Well, 6.5. So you round up then, dude. Just
6.5 was it? That'd be 7.
2 6s, 2 7s. So yeah.
That would be a 7 then, yes. So that's a 7. So that puts us at 6.75, which is pretty much an average for this season. Right, sort of in between the top and at the least and the bottom. It's kind of in that middle area.
Tavi just given 10 for Data's Day, just skews the whole thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
A few 10s for Data's Day. Data's Day did well.
Yeah,
it's a good
9
episode.
and Tavi made me feel guilty.
Decimo World Part 2 scored surprisingly low.
You need to get your life right, Ruth. I don't know what happened to you or what's going on in your life, but no 10 for Data's Day. We're going to talk about that later.
You shouldn't have reminded her. You see, you got to remind her.
Send a message to Monty to have that redacted and like updated because I think he will let you do that. You can do it right now. Ask him right now.
Data's Day. I gave it a 10, and well, look, the audience gave it a 9. You know, it's Maz you want to talk to because she gave it an 8.
They don't know what they're talking. Yeah, Maz. Maz. See, Maz, that's why he's sick right now.
Sorry, Dan.
What I was like saying, what's the lowest? Was it Galaxy's Child?
Was that which was the Me Too episode?
It was Galaxy's Child. Yeah, it was the lowest. Yeah, which was that episode? Yeah. And
wasn't that the ones where like the uniform that was today's fact came from?
Yes, it was. Yeah, Laura's jumpsuit. Yeah. The Loss is the other lowest of the season so far, with Data's Day and Clues being the sort of top 2.
Okay, there's a few good ones coming up for you. We're not done with the season yet.
Speaking of which, what's the next episode? What is the next episode? Oh, it's Q, isn't it? It's Cupid. Cupid.
And Vash, everyone's favorite. We all love Vash.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great. That's why they brought her back 3 times. Same way we love Luisana Troy, and they kept bringing her back too. Everyone loved her.
I will have to say something though, and I wish Karen was here. That was the first scene where I saw Picard. I'm like, oh damn, he just went over and got that.
Oh, what in Captain's Holiday?
Yeah, Captain's Holiday. She was just talking. He was just chilling out. Dude just swooped down on that. She didn't know it was coming, and it was good. I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, oh, okay. I see why people got problems with Captain Picard. After that, when they were showing him with the shirt off scenes, I'm like, oh Lord, David's not on duty tonight.
Does that mean your thumbnail for the next podcast episode or whatever will be the same as today's because they're both on the same VHS tape?
Correct. Yeah. There's always the same thumbnail two times in a row. Yeah.
It took me a while to work that out, why there was always 2 titles.
Yeah, it's just because it just brings back nostalgia to me, because I always used to collect the VHS tapes and had a wall of TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Like, as a teenager, I just had like a wall of Star Trek.
They were so pricey, and back in the day, if you missed it on telly, there was no way to see it again.
$15.99 per video for 2 episodes.
Yeah, but at the time, I was earning about £3 an hour, so $15.99 was a hell of a lot of money.
Next Gen, I wasn't earning anything. I was a child.
I mean, that's like 100. That's like €100 to me now, or £80-90. Like,
BBC Two at 6 o'clock. It was also tea time, so quite often I wasn't even allowed to be watching it because I was sitting down eating tea.
Tea time. That's so weird. What,
tea time?
You guys still do that?
Tea time.
No, it means dinner time.
Dinner.
Well,
okay.
It's a colloquialism. We call dinner tea.
Yeah, in certain parts of the UK and Ireland, dinner actually refers to lunch.
Yeah.
And then tea. They call what you call dinner. They sometimes call it tea, and then there's a whole other meal called supper. It's a mess.
It's complicated, and it's not even regional.
It's not. It's
basically you're basically hobbits.
Yeah, I guess.
No. See, I live in a rural area, so some people have dinner at lunchtime. You know, they go, I'm going in for my dinner, and it's like 12:30. You're like, what?
Yeah, we do call it tea. Yeah,
but if you live in a rural area, it's common enough to have dinner at lunchtime.
Yeah, dinner at lunch. Yeah.
But probably Tolkien took that idea. The hobbits having so many meals during the day from our they say like Eskimos have 100 words for snow. Well, we've got 100 words for different meals of the day. They say the Frankie have like loads of different words for rain.
Yeah.
I think it's more the Victorians. They were so rich, they had so much time on their hands, they had nothing better to do, so they just had like 5 small meals, and you get up, you prepare for breakfast, then you have 11s, then you have you like every hour and a half, 2 hours there was a meal, and you sat at a table so that you weren't just doing nothing all day every day, because they had too much money. There was no purpose in life. I think that's where it comes from.
Right, let's see the trailer. I've got to change the way I share this so
sounds like a great
you
purpose
beautiful people can hear it, because else.
Well, when Riker got the power of the Q, he gave it back. He was like, "Yeah, this is terrible. I don't like it."
Right.
Get all the power to anyone in the world.
Here you go, Sean. Shush. Here we go.
The evil Q returns.
I have a debt to repay.
He's turning Picard into the Prince of Thieves.
You're Robin Hood.
And forcing him to play a real-life game of survival.
This is not a mission. It's personal.
Should have left while you had the chance.
It appears there's going to be a double execution.
Medieval Trap next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
It's a fun one, anyway.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I'm just already high on that note right now, but he was looking fine.
Yeah.
Well, with the bald head,
with the whole hat on, and then when he did that kneel thing for his execution, I'm like, oh Lord, he's getting down there.
Who protests? He is not a merry man.
Yeah, I was totally surprised by how much.
I am not a merry man.
Sort of riffed on the film Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
Quite recently at that time.
Yeah, he was the Prince of Thieves.
And of course, Colomini was definitely in this episode because, of course, he mentions it to Wharf in Deep Space Nine. We don't see him, and he's never on the holodeck to visit any of these things. But he's like, I remember Geordi waving that sword around. How would you know?
Fine, we don't know what everyone else is doing.
Well, if he's peeping on people's holodeck shows, I know he gets bored in.
That's all he does. That's all he does in the transporter room. He just watches what everybody's doing. So when they contact him, he knows where they are and what they're doing.
It's probably pretty boring in there, standing around the transporter, not doing anything.
There's a comic book series, and I want to say it's called Bored Chief O'Brien, but it's just kind of him standing. It's just him standing in a transporter room, basically nothing happening over there.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's next week's episode, Cupid. I'd just like to thank Chief Sean Tavigins Turner there. Ensign Bryce, thank you, Ruth, for coming and joining us. You're always welcome. Anytime you want, feel free. And Dan of Subspace Chatter, do you want to let us know what you've got coming up on your channel, Dan?
Well, probably on Friday we'll be doing like a memorial show for Louise Fletcher,
right?
Win in DS9, and then the next, like this week's episode of Lower Decks will be reviewed on the Saturday.
Very cool. Very cool. I will hopefully be able to join you for that this week. Sorry?
Episode 8 of Lower Decks, is it? Or is it 9?
Yeah.
8.
Episode 8.
Yeah.
The one that comes out tomorrow, is that?
Yeah.
The one that last week.
4:30 p.m. That's when we'll be reviewing it.
Yeah.
Start.
Yes, I'll be available for that this week if you need anyone else on it. Yeah, so thanks, guys, for coming along. Thanks, Supreme Panko and Mazza McBob. We hope to see you next week. Thank you, Smiler Rainbow, for dropping by, and Andrew, and anyone else in live chat. We will see you next week at 8 o'clock for another TNG review. Cheers.
So I do this because Maz is not here.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.